Hey everyone, this is Jim, producer of the Around the House Show podcast. If you're listening right now, you already know we bring you the best tips, tricks, and expert advice to fix, upgrade, and maintain everything in your home without the headaches or the huge bills. But if you're catching us on the radio or borrowing a friend's phone, you're missing out on new episodes dropping straight to your device every week. So do yourself a favor, hit pause for just a second, grab your phone, and subscribe to Around the House Show on your favorite podcast player. Whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or wherever you listen. It's completely free, and you'll never miss an episode again. Thanks for supporting the show. Now let's get back to making your house work for you. Ready to turn your house into the home you've always dreamed of without the headaches or huge bills? You're tuned to Around the House, the nation's #1 home improvement radio show and podcast, with expert advice that's helped millions tackle everything from remodels to repairs. Hosts Eric G. and John Dudley have got you covered with the best advice and information about your home. Now, let's get this hour started. Happy Memorial Day weekend. In this special best of edition of the Around the House show, we are going to chat about how to build your own pizza oven. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Around the House show, the next generation of home improvement. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Eric G. And if there's an episode that we do this year that's going to make you hungry, I can just about guarantee this is going to be it. And this is something super cool that I can't wait to share with you. We've got Ben Builford, director of the Fire Brick Company. Welcome to Around the House, my friend.
Thank you, Eric. Very lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for coming on. And, it's late afternoon here. It's early in the morning there. That's the nice thing about you being down under. It's all different times.
It works really well, actually, the time difference. When we started selling the ovens in America, I thought, is the time difference going to work? But it does, late afternoon for you, early morning for me. It's great.
It's great. Well, I got to say, first off, I am so impressed with what you have created because, dang, man, that is a killer pizza oven that is wood fired. I love it. We cook on it weekly, and there's a learning curve like any art, but wow. That thing is stunning, and it was pretty easy to build.
Thanks, man. That's lovely of you to say. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad to hear you're getting some some use out of it and some joy out of it, which is always, I guess, is the idea. Is what we want. Because when you build yours, it was a few months ago now.
Yeah, it was kind of over the winter time here, so it was 6 months or so ago, and just started going after it, and it's really hard to film for television only because all the content that I ran camera on, because it isn't like it's a hard build, but it's just time consuming with the things that you have to do it right.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. And that's we've got the video series of to follow along with how to build it. And how long is it? 3.5 hours. And I remember filming them just thinking, it was the second time that we'd filmed the video series. And I remember Joel, the videographer, saying, he's my best friend. He was my best man at my wedding. And he said to me, now, Ben, should we try to make them shorter this time? Should we try and cut down the length of the videos a bit? And I said, Joel, I don't think we can, man. It's a long process. And I want to show all the detail.
Because it makes a difference. Those videos helped me a lot because you can print out the most great directions, which you've got on the website if you want to see them and look them on online. But really seeing somebody do it on a video is so helpful. And it was to me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually that's why we've been able to sell as many of the ovens as we have. Is the videos and the detail that we go into and they're freely available. Like you don't have to pay to get them or anything. And so I find most of our customers actually tend to watch those videos before they buy. They watch the whole series and then they go, I can actually do this. And they go from this attitude of how on earth did they build that to, actually, no, I can see how I could do that, because it's all broken down into little steps, and you just tackle each step and get it done.
Yeah, it was so funny. And, and you have to have patience on this because it's time consuming. It's beautiful. But when you all get it done and it's like, all right, I'm 90% here. Now you have to season it correctly. You got to not ruin your work. So it's anything, you've got to, it takes some patience, which is like the hardest part, because you're like, this is amazing. I got a few weeks of getting this thing ready now.
I get calls all the time from people who they'll say, how long does it take to build? And I'll say, it depends on the oven. It might be the P85 is about 20 hours of work. And they're like, I've got this event coming up in like 3 weeks time or a month's time. And it's a 21st birthday or something. And I just tell them, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I'm not saying don't build the oven, but if you try to build it to a timeline, firstly, it takes all the fun out of it. Because now you have to hustle. You don't get to just enjoy the process. But then you have this stress of, I've got to get it done by then. But really, you've got to finish it at least 2 weeks before the due date, because of the curing times and all those heat up fires you've got to do, that slow drying process. It's a whole thing.
And you don't want your first pizza cook to be in front of all these people. There are steps to learning the art of this.
People do that though. They put themselves through that. And I say, what are you doing? Like, you've just built this oven and you've got like 20 of your best friends over and all your family. And this is your first time doing
You're going to burn it. I promise you. You're going to burn it.
It's going to be a burnt offering. 100%.
It is. And that's okay. But, once you get it down and you realize that, okay, controlling your heat is like anything cooking, is making, understanding where that sweet spot is for your style of pizza you like to cook. It's pretty easy at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a lot of fun. We did a video recently called How to Enjoy a Pizza Party. And it wasn't, I said out at the start of the video, I said, this is not a video to teach you like the most, amazing dough or like, there's heaps of videos on various doughs, etc. online. But I wanted to try and make the pizza cooking process less catering, like because it can feel like a catering experience where you don't even get to talk to your friends. And so I just set out a few tips to try and make it easier and just to get people started in the process. So not to try to teach them how to make the best pizza right off the bat. You can work up to that. People spend like their whole careers, as pizza professionals trying to nail it. But we just want to get them started so then they can build on that and just enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I got some tricks and tips we'll do at the end of the show. But I want to talk about your ovens here and where people start out with, because, there's people out there that'll go, hey, I just want this little propane thing to throw on the countertop, and awesome, that's your jam. But if you really want a pizza oven, this is kind of what I say about people that have like the small $300 propane barbecues. It's like, hey, that is great for somebody, right? That is perfect. But then the people that really want to cook, there's nothing better than wood fire. So this, to me, I think is the most cost-effective way to do it, to build something professional and that is going to be a statement piece for your outdoor kitchen.
You mentioned like the smaller like benchtop ovens, and I actually have no problem with those. I think they're a really cool idea. If all you want to do is just cook maybe half a dozen pizzas, that's it. Then maybe that would actually be the best oven for you. I would actually say if you rang us up and said, hey, Ben, like it's just me and my wife and we don't really entertain much and we just want to cook like maybe 3 or 4 pizzas on a weekend, which oven would you recommend for us? I'd say probably don't get one of ours because it would be wasteful. It takes a fair bit of fuel to heat our ovens up and you really want to get value out of that. So no, I don't think those benchtop ovens are bad. In fact, we get a lot of people calling us saying, I've had one of those benchtop ovens. I love it, and I love making pizza, but I've hit the limit of it. I want to do more, and I want to do more than just pizza. I want to do roasting and baking and slow cooking and all of that other stuff, and I just can't do it. It's just for doing a few pizzas, and it does that really well. And
there's nothing wrong with that. But what you guys have is it's cool that you have something that is small enough for a family to use and to have a good pizza party, and you could have 20 people over and still with your smallest oven really enjoy a pizza party with that. And then you've got, hey, I want to have my own commercial unit and I want to have 1,000 people over. You've got that as well.
Around the House will be right back with more from Ben from the Fire Brick Company. Stick around.
Quick question. How long does it take you to put together a contractor estimate? If it's more than 5 minutes, you're probably losing jobs to whoever gets there first. We built Instabid after losing a $13,000 job because my quote was too slow. Now I generate a professional PDF estimate, real Home Depot pricing, real labor costs for your zip code in under 5 minutes. Painters, roofers, all the trades. Try it free at instabid.pro. Use code ATH50 for 50% off your first month. That's instabid.pro, code ATH50.
Hey, it's Eric G from Around the House. Quick favor. If you're enjoying the show, the absolute best way you can support us is by leaving a quick review on your favorite podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. It literally takes 30 seconds, and here's why it matters so much to us. Those reviews help new listeners discover the podcast. Tell the algorithms we're worth recommending, and give us the feedback we need to bring you even better episodes. More of the topics you love, and guests that actually move the needle for you. That helps us help you. It's as simple as that. So if the show's been useful, funny, or just made your day a little better, pop over right now, drop a star rating, and a couple of sentences. We'll be genuinely grateful. Thanks for being a part of the Around the House crew, and let's keep that conversation going.
What's up? This is Sticks It In Ya.
And Satchel from Steel Panther. And you are listening to
Around the House with Eric G.
Yeah.
We love Eric G, and you should too.
Welcome back to the Around the House show's special Memorial Day Best of Edition. To contact us here at the show, make sure you follow us and our social media channels at our website, aroundthehouseonline.com. We are talking about building your own wood-fired pizza oven with Ben from the Fire Brick Company. Let's continue this discussion.
I want to do more, and I want to do more than just pizza. I want to do roasting and baking and slow cooking and all of that other stuff, and I just can't do it. It's just for doing a few pizzas, and it does that really well. And
there's nothing wrong with that. But what you guys have is it's cool that you have something that is small enough for a family to use and to have a good pizza party, and you could have 20 people over and still with your smallest oven really enjoy a pizza party with that. And then you've got, hey, I want to have my own commercial unit and I want to have 1,000 people over. You've got that as well.
We've got a range. And so you've got the smallest oven. You've got our P85, and it's not small.
No.
A lot of people, they look at our range of ovens and they see, we've got the smallest to the largest, and they figure, well, the small one must be kind of small. And it's not. It's it's 33 and a half inches internal diameter, which is pretty big. We had my brother-in-law's 50th birthday party recently, Rob. And I didn't have a gift for Rob, sort of, I was trying to think, what could I get him? And in the end, I said, you know what, Rob, I'll cater for you. And he has the same oven you have. He has a P85. He had 40 people over. And I cooked pizza for everybody out of that oven. And I was cooking one or two at a time. And I had a team of 4 people rolling out bases and topping them for me. And they couldn't keep up because the pizzas will be cooked in between 90 seconds and 2 minutes if you put the right amount of toppings on. So even our smallest oven caters for big groups. Actually, a lovely story. Customer in Australia during our lockdowns here. Oh, don't even get me started on lockdowns.
Yeah, don't get me started as well.
Anyway, we had a customer who their daughter was getting married, and the wedding reception, the venue, got shut down at short notice. Don't know exactly what happened, but basically the wedding reception was like going to be cancelled, and they moved it to their house, and they fed 60 people pizza out of their P85. And I was like, that's such a cool story. Like, because people call us all the time. They want to buy the biggest one.
Well, I think I was one of those people. I think I was like, all right, I'm looking at the D105, or I was looking at the 130, and you're like, slow down, cowboy. Slow down, cowboy. That might not be what you need.
No. So for everyone listening, I didn't say slow down, cowboy. Yeah. But I do ask everyone. I say, everyone who reaches out and they ask, particularly for the biggest oven. First question I ask them is it for a restaurant? And if it is, if they're building a restaurant, which happens quite often, we say, awesome, it's a perfect oven for you. But if you're not, if it's for home, then we actually really encourage people to think a little smaller. The D105 is the model down. We sell heaps of those because the heat up time really affects like your enjoyment of the oven. And the example I give is, let's say with the D130, it's got a 4.5 hour heat up time, which is pretty phenomenal. Like that's a long time. And the thing is, it's a lot of oven to heat. You're bringing up all this thermal mass from stone cold all the way up to 700 Fahrenheit, 750, as hot as you want. But that you bring up a lot of material up to this temperature, and so that takes some time. And I say to people like, well, look, if you're having 50 people over, then it wouldn't even faze you. You'd get up in the morning and fire the oven so that it's ready for the evening. Like it wouldn't bother you because it's this big event that you're having. But if you're having 3 friends over, can you be bothered spending 4.5 hours firing up and you're only going to cook a handful of pizzas, let's say, or maybe a roast? Can you be bothered? Can you justify the time and the firewood to do it? And whereas if you have a smaller oven, well, that justification is so much easier because the time is like halved. And actually, that's why we sell so many. The P85, the oven you have, is our biggest seller because it has a really rapid heat up time. It's like 1 hour and 15 minutes. And whereas like the D105, which is the next biggest seller, that's a 2.5 hour heat up time. And so now that comes with a trade-off where the cool down time is the trade-off. So if you can cook as the oven's cooling. Have you done much of that?
Yeah, I have. I've had people over here where we've had an all-day party, and I'm throwing pizzas in, and I start cooking at maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still throwing some dinner in as it's cooking. It still works, Oh,
absolutely. So your oven should take, if it's dropping from 750 down to 150. So if you put the door in the oven and that seals the chamber off so that you don't have air going in and out, cooling it down, it should take around 36 hours to drop from 750 to 150, which means you got all this cooking you can do as it cools down. You can cook a bunch.
I've reheated the pizza the next morning for breakfast.
Yeah,
that I didn't eat the night before on it. So I've done that.
That's actually something that you could really look at doing is when you're making up your pizza dough for the pizzas the night before, make up some bread dough. Right, but with a small amount of yeast, so it rises really slowly, and let it rise overnight in the fridge or something, and then bake it the following morning using the residual heat. It's awesome.
Yeah, because it's 350 or whatever. It's like the perfect bread baking temperature.
It's perfect bread. The P85 should be almost perfect bread temperature 12 hours after it's firing. Now the D105 takes twice as long to heat up, but it takes 72 hours to cool down. And so that's why people who are buying those ovens are often thinking, they're like, right, I'm going to fire it on Friday. We'll do pizzas. Then Saturday, I'm going to do like roasting in the morning. And then, I'm going to do some baking in the afternoon. And then Sunday, I'm going to do like biscuits and cakes. And then on Monday, I'm going to dehydrate fruit and vegetables and and other things, all from the one firing, which I really encourage because it's really good use of all of that heat. You're not wasting the energy that's been put into the oven from all that lovely
Yeah, the other thing I've done too is if I had any wet firewood or stuff that might have gotten damp that is close enough, was I'll reset the oven, the next morning, and it's still warm enough in there that I can do that. And I'm like, I'm just going to kiln dry my wood for the next time.
Yes, exactly. I only figured that out. It took me years to realize. I think it was a customer suggested it to me. They said, yeah, well, if the oven cools down enough, and it does need to cool down enough.
Otherwise, you've got another day of pizza cooking.
We have a Facebook community group for our for the business, and people are free to join it, and anyone's free to join and have a chat about our ovens. And a chap posted the other day. He said, I was kiln drying a bunch of wood, but I put it in at like 500 Fahrenheit. And he said he put all this firewood into his oven, all this damp wood. He closed the door, went to bed. And then he came out the next morning and his oven was sitting at 900 Fahrenheit. And he said it had all become charcoal.
Around the House will be right back with more from Ben from the Fire Brick Company. Stick around.
Hey, it's Eric G from Around the House. Quick favor. If you're enjoying the show, the absolute best way you can support us is by leaving a quick review on your favorite podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. It literally takes 30 seconds, and here's why it matters so much to us. Those reviews help new listeners discover the podcast. Tell the algorithms we're worth recommending, and give us the feedback we need to bring you even better episodes. More of the topics you love, and guests that actually move the needle for you. That helps us help you. It's as simple as that. So if the show's been useful, funny, or just made your day a little better, pop over right now, drop a star rating, and a couple of sentences. We'll be genuinely grateful. Thanks for being a part of the Around the House crew, and let's keep that conversation going. Beauty meets intelligence with Baldwin, engineered by Level Lock, where luxury hardware meets smart technology. All the timeless elegance of a traditional deadbolt. Now, with the smart system hidden inside the door. No bulky hardware, no visible batteries, just beautifully crafted solid brass. Unlock with your phone, keypad, or even a classic key. Let guests in remotely, seamlessly every time. Advanced Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and Matter compatible. Powerful performance without changing how your door looks. Security, convenience, and stunning design working together perfectly. Baldwin by Level Lock. Luxury unclocked. Check it out for yourself at baldwinhardware.com/level or your favorite hardware showroom.
Welcome back to the Around the House show's special Memorial Day Best of edition. To contact us here at the show, make sure you follow us and our social media channels at our website, aroundthehouseonline.com. We are talking about building your own wood-fired pizza oven with Ben from the Fire Brick Company. Let's continue this discussion.
What I like about your kits is, especially, when you're starting out, and not a lot of people out there are masons or anything else, but like the P85, you have made it so easy to take it step by step, and the right pieces are pre-cut. You cut the pieces that don't require special tools. You've made it about as DIY friendly as it could ever be.
That's been my goal. Since I started the business, was to try to make these kits as easy as possible to build, because then obviously that appeals to the broadest range of people. It opens it up, and it's actually something that gives me a lot of joy is reading our Google reviews. If I'm ever feeling a bit sad, I just jump on out, read our Google reviews. Well, because one of my favorite comments that I get is, I had no experience with masonry. I'd never laid a brick in my life, and I bought this kit, and look what I built. And they're so proud of it, of what they've been able to do. And a big part of that is, we've tried. I've built, I don't know how many of these things, like so many of them. And every time I build one again, I think, I I could change this little thing. I've just noticed this little thing that no one's mentioned. And if I just change that, that would make this just 0.5% easier to build. And it's been what? We started in 2011. So it's like 13 years of
just constant refining. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And, it goes together quick. I mean, it was funny. I had because we had 2 cameras running at some point. We had about 17 hours of content, for the whole process that we had filmed. Of course, for my show, we had to make it into a 10-minute piece, which was nearly impossible, but we did. But, we only used a little bit of it. But it was so fun to do that. And I think the cool part is that you have cast, like that whole upper chimney piece and stuff. You've made the hard pieces already for us in that kit.
Yes.
So really the hardest part, which isn't that hard, is setting up the brick on the front, and the rest of it is just patience.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've looked at every element of the build and gone, well, is that achievable by someone who's handy? And this is the test I have actually. Some people reach out and they say, do you think I can build it? Now, I don't know them personally, and so I need to make a sort of a judgment call on it. But I just say, well, look, if you can build the stand for the oven to go on, I guarantee you can easily build the oven, because the stand is much more challenging than the oven itself. Depending on how you tackle the stand, that can be much more difficult. And so if you can build the stand, mate, you can build the oven very easily.
So let me tell you about how I built my stand, because I did something completely different.
Tell me more about it. Yeah. It was very cool.
So what I did is I poured a concrete footing that was about 8 inches thick. That was an H. So I went kind of an H and then a box around it this way. And so what I did is I poured that as one piece, put rebar down in it because I wanted it to be really sturdy and not move around at all. Mm-hmm. And then on top, I put bolts in it so I could bolt it down like you would a house, for instance. And then I got the heavy duty steel studs to build a steel framed box basically underneath that. And so what was cool is I had the outside of the box, but that middle wall that went in the middle of that H set right under the oven as well. So that added some rigidity in that.
Absolutely. I saw it and I was very impressed because where did you, is that readily available? Like that heavy duty steel stud? Can you just
that's at my Lowe's store down the street. It's on the shelf.
Man, in Australia, we can't get that. We can get this chintzy, thin, flimsy, like internal walling type stuff, but not the heavy duty actual. Yeah,
this is the heavier stuff. Lowe's carries it. Home Depot has the thinner stuff, but then what I did is I wrapped that around with 1/2 inch OSB that's waterproof, the chipboard on the outside that had the waterproof barrier on it, and on the top I put in 1 1/8 subfloor material, so it's like this across the whole thing.
Yeah, nice.
So I had that all tied together. It was all screwed in this way. And then I put another inch of concrete board, the tile backer board, that I did a mud layer in between and screwed those down on top of it. So I had something that was going to be very heat proof. So I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. And look, for the floor, people reach out to us and ask us, what do I need to use for my bench top? And one rule we have is, look, non-combustible. So don't go using timber under your floor. The insulation is really, really good. You're not going to set it on fire, but it's still something we can't recommend. So, but you got that like the Hardy Backer tile underlay.
I did two layers of that with thin set concrete in between them that you put tile down with, and that's not going anywhere.
Exactly right. And so as long as you have enough structural support under that, which you did with all of that steel framing that you had, then that's all you need. But one of the things, like if anyone's listening to this thinking, oh man, like I'd love to build an oven, and maybe it's not even one of ours, but you're wanting to build an oven and you're wanting suggestions on your stand, just reach out to us because we're more than happy to provide advice around what will work and what won't. Because the last thing we want to see is you build something that collapses. We've never had a customer have an issue structurally with something they've built. I think part of that is, we're very open with help and advice. So yeah, if anyone's listening and wanting some advice, just reach out. Like we'll be super happy to help.
I should have put door on the inside of that for a bomb shelter because I think it probably would have worked out well.
Well, even you should see the ones that like people build for their brick ovens. They build them with like cinder blocks, right? So, do a concrete foundation and then like an 8-inch thick cinder block wall. And we get them to fill all of the cores in the cinder blocks with Rio and concrete and then pour a 5-inch slab on top of that. And it's legitimately a bomb shelter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could park a truck on top of that.
Very pokey.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-person bomb shelter if you're willing to like crouch.
Yeah, it'd be good enough. If you're claustrophobic, maybe not the place to go hang out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really easy, and it was stuff that I just basically built right off the lumberyard, my lumberyard shelf, which was awesome. So that was super easy to do.
Yeah, love it.
So I love that. So yeah, there's so many different ways to do that. And then, going through and I love how you guys have, the base pieces for that are planned out. You've got all the materials and you basically just need a couple bags of material to mix up your concrete with.
You just need some washed sand, some hydrated lime and Portland cement, which are pretty basic building materials. And then the only reason we don't put those in the kit actually is they're so cheap and they're pretty readily available. Why would you have sand shipped from Australia?
Smart point.
It's sustainability wise probably not brilliant. So no, we just get you guys to buy that locally, but then everything else is there, and it's basically like a great big Lego set. To put together. Someone actually said, it's been said a few times, like, oh, it's a big jigsaw puzzle. I said, well, jigsaw implies difficulty and you have to sort of figure out where all the pieces go. This is not that. This is like I don't know if I'm allowed to say Lego, but I'm going to say it. But it's a Lego set with very detailed instructions to follow.
It is. And if you make a quick little mistake, you can fix it because you go, oh, oops. Remember, I made a mistake on mine and I fixed it real quick. I was working on it. I went, oh, wait a minute. Oops.
Yeah. I saw that and I saw that in the video. I was like, what's he done? But the beautiful thing is there's so much, what would you call it? Not tolerance, although there's lots of tolerance in the build in terms of things don't have to be.
There's some forgiveness to this,
Forgiveness. That's right. Like if you make a mistake, if you lay some bricks wrong, no big deal. You take them off because the mortar takes hours to set. You take them off, you scrape the mortar off, clean them up, give them a little wash, and do it again. And that's a very it's a lovely part of that process because if it didn't have that.
Around the House will be right back with more from Ben from the Fire Brick Company. Stick around.
Quick question. How long does it take you to put together a contractor estimate? If it's more than 5 minutes, you're probably losing jobs to whoever gets there first. We built Instabid after losing a $13,000 job because my quote was too slow. Now I generate a professional PDF estimate, real Home Depot pricing, real labor costs for your zip code in under 5 minutes. Painters, roofers, all the trades. Try it free at instabid.pro. Use code ATH50 for 50% off your first month. That's instabid.pro, code ATH50.
Hey everyone, this is Jim, producer of the Around the House Show podcast. If you're listening right now, you already know we bring you the best tips, tricks, and expert advice to fix, upgrade, and maintain everything in your home without the headaches or the huge bills. But if you're catching us on the radio or borrowing a friend's phone, you're missing out on new episodes dropping straight to your device every week. So do yourself a favor, hit pause for just a second, grab your phone, and subscribe to Around the House Show on your favorite podcast player. Whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or wherever you listen. It's completely free, and you'll never miss an episode again. Thanks for supporting the show. Now let's get back to making your house work for you. Welcome back to the Around the House Show's special Memorial Day Best of Edition. To contact us here at the show, make sure you follow us and our social media channels at our website, aroundthehouseonline.com. We are talking about building your own wood-fired pizza oven with Ben from the Fire Brick Company. Let's continue this discussion.
And it will grab wet dough very readily. So if a little bit of sauce seeps through the crust of the pizza and it'll just stick. So something you can use instead of the metal peel to make your pizzas on is wooden boards. Plywood. If you make some plywood boards, now we make these with bamboo ply because it's food grade. But for home, plywood's going to be totally fine. Just make up some plywood boards. The beauty of the plywood boards is you have one pizza peel, but you could have 20 boards. Right. And so you could have, particularly if you're having a larger group over, this is actually one of the things we mentioned in that video of how to enjoy a pizza party. It's like the first tip is have a dozen boards that you can make them on because the dough does not stick to wood very well.
No, because it's just going to soak in and not going to create that bond between them.
Exactly right. So that the wood will soak up a little bit of that moisture and it won't stick straight away. And so it's much more forgiving than the metal peel. So give that a go. Again, a little bit of semolina on there. It doesn't hurt. But then if you make them on wooden boards, they don't stick as readily. And you can make 6. And
I'm ready to go.
Because what that does, Eric, is right now the way you're doing it is you are the caterer and you're doing all the work. And something that you can do with it. This is my favorite thing to do with the ovens is, you make everybody else do the work, right? All your friends and family come over, you give them some basic training in what to do. Now, of course, this requires you to know what you're doing. So, you go through the process for maybe the first 6 months or something, you figure it all out. And then when you have friends over, you say, hey, grab one of those wooden boards. I've rolled out a base for you. Top that up. You top it. You cook it, right? And it's just endlessly entertaining watching your friends cooking their pizza. If they burn it, they still enjoy it. But that's one of those. It's just a little thing. But if you're trying to use the pizza peel to make every pizza on, you become a slave.
Yeah, you're the chef now in the kitchen. So
the chef. That's a better word than slave. Much better. But everyone else can get involved and they can all help out. So
yeah, that's smart. So I want to talk roasting and baking in here because it's one of those things before we run out of time. I want to make sure we cover really well because this isn't just a pizza oven.
I try so hard not to call it a pizza oven, but everybody calls it a pizza oven. It's just the normal word for it, but it's a wood-fired oven. You can do so much more than pizza.
What is your favorite thing to roast in there?
Lamb, hands down. It's easy. You just get a nice big leg of lamb, stab a bunch of holes in it. I put garlic cloves into the holes, then oil, salt, rosemary, and bang it in a tray. Stick it in the oven, and you can prep that in 15 minutes. I love meat-wise, lamb is my favorite, but. The other thing I love is just the roast veggies. So potato, bit of butternut pumpkin, some onions, and getting that in the oven, they absorb that smoky flavor really well, really, really well. And so I almost like roast vegetables in the oven more than the meat. Don't get me wrong, love the meat, but I just love it. The flavor that you get in the roast veggies is phenomenal.
And then in the Facebook group, I've seen so many people doing breads and things like that in there as well. It just makes me hungry when I go on there. It's amazing watching what people are making.
They're doing bread. They're doing I encourage people post up anything they're cooking. There's been some people in Florida who've been making all these clam-based things that I've never even seen before.
Yeah,
and they look delicious. I want to eat them so bad. But I think. For anyone listening who's thinking about wood-fired cooking, pizza is where you start and it's awesome. But I find most of our customers end up doing more roasting and baking than they do pizza after a while, because they realize actually this is easier than pizza, because pizza requires a lot of prep. Now, again, you can buy the dough and then that shaves the prep down significantly. But roasting and baking, like roast chicken, leg of lamb. I've been doing, did you see the video we did on how to use the oven as a smoker?
Yes. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Like it's you can certainly do pizza, but you've got all of these other things that you can do in it. Actually, something else I do is grilling. So, we've got like we call it a Tuscan grill, which is a sort of a raised bar grill that you can put in the oven over the coals. So it sits like 3 inches high. And so you can get a bed of coals and throw the grill on top. And then you put steak and whatever on top of that grill. You can make that yourself, though. You could just go to your, $300 barbecue and grab the cast iron grills off that and perch them on a couple of bricks inside the oven, rake those coals forward. And it'll be some of the best steaks you ever eat is cooked over wood coals in your own oven. There's so much that you can do more than pizza. Yeah. Well, and a good example of that, so there's a chap on Instagram called, his name's Chris Vozzo. He's one of my favorite customers. He's up in Brisbane, and he is cooking something in his oven nearly every day. It's pizza from time to time, but it's so many other things. So if you look up Il Forno Rosso, so IL Forno and then ROSSO, he's prolific. It's ridiculous, all the things that man cooks.
Nice. That is awesome. I'll have to check that out. So, Ben, we are running out of time, but I want to make sure that we talk about how people find you and all the different ovens and stuff and what you guys are doing over there, because I tell you what, this is, I think, the perfect DIY project for people this summer, this fall, and even during the winter time, if it's not frozen outside, there's a great time you can be doing outside with this.
Absolutely. So we've got our website, www.thefirebrickco.com. Jump on there. You can, all our contact details are there. You can call us. We've got lots and lots of videos and lots of resources that you can check out. Importantly, I think for Americans to know, because I've got, obviously I'm Australian, as you can tell by my glorious accent. And so important to know that we have an American company. We have stock in 4 warehouses. We have stock in California, Texas, Florida, and New Jersey. So it's around the country. It's ready to go. Our pricing is all online and it's all inclusive of freight. So it's free delivery across the entire United States, including Hawaii. We charge a little bit more for Alaska. Other than that, that's the price. So you can jump on, you can order online. But if you want to talk to somebody, call us, because we actually really appreciate talking to our customers before they buy, to make sure we've answered any questions and make sure they understand everything. Our customer support is a huge part of our business. And for such you mentioned, it's pretty easy to put together, but it's involved. It took you like 17 hours. Our customers have to know that we're here to help, and that the customer support is there. So that's what I'd say. Yeah.
And I'll say that you and I talking and walking through the process, and, for me, I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly for TV. So I don't want to be experimenting so much on television when I'm doing something and making sure that we're doing it right. And your guys' customer service is top notch. And literally it was days later from when you said, all right, it's shipping out. It was on my front doorstep. I was like, wow, that was quick. So it's really quick. It's not one of those things where you're waiting for it to show up. It comes up pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, we've worked really hard on providing a really good customer experience. And we don't always get it right. Things go wrong, but we work so hard to try to make it a great experience for everybody. And so you can jump on our Google reviews and just read what people have to say about us. And we can't influence those. People just write what they want. And it's overwhelmingly positive. And a thing that they say all the time is they were so helpful. And that's what we want people to know is it's not like you buy a product and we never want to hear from you again. It's the opposite. We beg them. We're like, please, if you have questions, call us. We're here to help. And actually, the customer support is we have Braden in West Virginia working for us. and he does a few hours a day for us out of West Virginia. But then the calls divert to us in Australia. And so you can call all night, like late afternoon into like midnight, and we're here to help, all for a local call. So,
Ben, thanks for coming on today, man. I really like the time that we spent today, and you guys have got this dialed in so perfectly. To me, it is the best pizza oven to have in your backyard, and you're not paying me to say that. I'm just a believer of what you're doing, so I appreciate you, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for having me on. It's been lovely. Lovely talking to you.
This has been a lot of fun. All right, guys, I'm Eric G, and you've been listening to Around the House.
Hey, it's Eric G with Around the House. Are you looking to grow your business? Need a spokesperson for your company? Maybe an MC for an upcoming trade show? Or maybe you want to up your game and shoot some promotional videos? My team of experts would love to chat with you. Head to AroundTheHouseOnline.com and fill out the Contact Us form, and we'll set something up. Thanks for listening to Around the House.